In a chillingly composed call, Louis Daines summoned Essex Place Emergency Services, his voice betraying no emotion, as he requested both police and a forensic team, leaving the operator questioning his motives. When pressed for details, Daines confessed to a violent altercation, from which he alone emerged alive. His admission, a stark confirmation of murder, hung heavy in the air. On February 17, 2014, the 18-year-old's cold declaration to the police revealed a sinister truth. The life he had snuffed out belonged to young Breck Bednar. A web of deceit spun by Daines, a known predator, led to this tragic end. Breck, merely 14 years old, became an unwilling victim of Daines's malevolent manipulation. His mother, Lauren Lefebvre, had previously raised alarms about the grooming of her son, but those cries went unheard, leaving Breck vulnerable. Despite Lauren's warnings, the authorities failed to intervene, an oversight that cost Breck his life. The unfolding narrative of this crime exposes the brutal reality of Daines's predatory nature. Our exploration today delves into the heinous acts of Louis Daines, a predator with a documented history of violence, whose twisted fixation on young boys culminated in Breck's horrific death. To understand the impact of this crime, we begin with Breck, a boy of undeniable innocence. His parents, Lauren and Barry Bednar, both hailed from America, their love story beginning in Breckenridge, Colorado. They cherished the town so deeply, they named their firstborn son after it. Breck entered the world on March 17, 1999, his upbringing steeped in love and care. The Bednars shared a strong bond, extending their affection to Breck, ensuring he wanted for nothing. Lauren later gave birth to triplets, making Breck a devoted brother to his siblings. Breck's nurturing nature was evident, his kindness enduring until his final day. Yet, his life was not without upheaval, marked by unforeseen challenges. The family relocated to England 3 years before Breck's birth, driven by Barry's career as an oil trader. This move was supposed to secure a prosperous future, but life had other plans. Barry's success in the oil trade brought wealth, affording Breck a prestigious education at elite private schools. However, circumstances soon shifted dramatically. As Breck approached middle school, his parents' marriage dissolved, thrusting the family into financial hardship and altering the course of Breck's education. Forced to leave his private school, Breck transitioned to a local public institution, a difficult adjustment that stripped away the stability he once knew. The private school offered a wealth of activities, including a robust sports program that kept Breck active. Deprived of these outlets, he sought solace in the digital realm. Immersed in video games, Breck's virtual escapism grew, prompting concern from his mother. Meanwhile, Barry's absence during this period raises further questions. In the final years of Breck's life, financial strains began to surface. Barry's reduced support led to Breck's transition to a public school. This change hinted at underlying tensions between his parents. These tensions did not go unnoticed by their children. Yet Breck managed to maintain a semblance of stability in his life. Living with his mother and siblings in Caterham, Surrey, England, Breck found solace in his surroundings. In a digital age where hackers have claimed the social security numbers of countless Americans, more than 2.9 billion records stolen from national public data, caution is paramount. These records, including names, addresses, birth dates, and more, were exposed online, available for anyone to exploit. As the hackers released this information freely, it became a stark reminder of online vulnerabilities. For those unprotected, this serves as a critical wake-up call. Yet, with Aura's vigilance, one can feel secure as they monitor for any breaches. Aura swiftly alerts users if their personal information appears on the dark web, offering up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. This assurance is complemented by a variety of protective features, all accessible through a single app. Exploring Aura.com Into the Deep provides a 14-day free trial. During this period, Aura can detect any exposure of personal data. This is crucial, as national public data's negligence remains unpunished. Protecting oneself and family from such data breaches is a necessary precaution. Despite reduced financial privilege, Breck adapted to life in a town of 20,000, where he nurtured a passion for technology. Family narratives reveal Breck's innate ability to fix things. As a child, he idolized Bob the Builder, carrying a toolkit in hand. This childhood admiration matured into a real talent. Breck was not one to hoard his skills, always ready to assist family with tech troubles. Generous with his time, Breck sought to educate less tech-savvy relatives, sharing his knowledge freely. Breck's love for computers harbored a sinister side. He began to vanish into the depths of online gaming, a transition that coincided with his change of schools. His mother, Lauren, made efforts to keep him active, enrolling him in the Air Training Squadron. She hoped he'd embrace discipline and hard work. Sadly, Breck was already treading a path of destruction. His initial love for online gaming fostered connections with friends after school. This virtual world was perhaps his sole link to maintaining friendships. Having once been in private school, the internet now became a perilous landscape for a naive 14-year-old. Lurking within were predators eager to exploit young minds. Enter Louis Daines, who would ultimately claim Breck's life. In a brutal attack, Daines, aged 18, appeared deceptively young. His baby-faced demeanor masked a sinister nature. This youthful appearance allowed him to appear non-threatening, gaining proximity to his victims. Yet, Daines emerged as a cold-blooded predator. His life story might shed light on his transformation, but unlike Breck, stability eluded him. An only child, Daines lacked sibling support. His early years were marred by his parents' divorce and frequent relocations. Initially, he lived with his mother and stepfather. This changed when his stepfather's job took them overseas, leaving Daines behind. He then moved in with his father, only to be expelled. The reasons remain unclear, but eventually he settled with his grandparents. This instability shattered his mental peace. Daines developed a tendency to lie, aiming to impress and make friends. His computer skills, akin to Breck's, became a focal point. However, he grossly exaggerated these skills, crafting tales that would later help him win Breck's trust. Before their fateful online interaction, Daines had already shown dangerous tendencies. He harassed peers, displayed inappropriate sexual behavior, and ignored boundaries, culminating in a 2011 incident. In the years leading up to their fateful online encounter, Daines repeatedly demonstrated he wasn't just poorly adjusted, he was outright dangerous as well, with a tendency to harass other boys, exhibit extremely inappropriate sexual behavior, refusing to take no for an answer. This behavior culminated in a 2011 incident, in which Daines allegedly sexually assaulted a 15-year-old boy. There was evidence of the crime, and the victim was willing to come forward. However, Daines managed to escape justice. This would be a recurring pattern in Daines's criminal activities. Every time he did something unspeakable, the police simply refused to intervene for some reason. Could his baby face have had something to do with it? There is a chance. The police looked at Daines and saw an innocent child, who didn't know any better. But as we will soon reveal, these childish looks concealed a homicidal rage. Beneath the surface, investigators eventually learned the culprit had enormous insatiable sexual appetites. We have already established his perverted preferences. However, it bears mentioning he could never get enough of them. Apart from the one assault victim we already know of, Daines allegedly had a collection of horrific illegal videos depicting minors. In his desperation to satisfy his urges, Daines developed a habit of preying on boys much younger than himself. By 2013, the culprit moved out of his grandparents' home, started living alone in a flat in Grays, Essex, about 30 miles from Caterham. In early 2013, a chance encounter set off a year-long sequence of events. These would conclude with a bloody crime scene, the death of a boy who stood no chance against a ruthless predator like Daines. Around the start of 2013, two of Breck's friends told him about a gaming group where they played Call of Duty and Battlefield. They may have mentioned the bold ringleader of the group, who seemed to have an almost supernatural level of influence over the members. All group members were around 13 or 14, except the ringleader, none other than Daines. It is said the culprit had significant influence over the gaming group members, He established this influence by making claims we mentioned previously, which we shall now delve into. It was clear Daines had some degree of knowledge about computers, but the story he told his young, impressionable gaming friends was completely out of this world. Daines presented himself as a wealthy computer engineer, claiming he resided in New York. His alleged wealth, he boasted, came from selling software to the U.S. government. In his audacious tales, Louis Daines painted himself as a prodigious genius. His claims were so grandiose, suggesting even the U.S. Secret Service employed his creations. The allure of his lies was undeniable. To his youthful audience, these fabrications were gospel truths, elevating Daines to an almost mythical status. His prowess in gaming only further cemented his dominance within the group. Breck Bednar fell under Daines's spell, captivated by Daines's boast of amassing $2 million through Bitcoin ventures. The perpetrator's deceit was intoxicating. Daines's reputation soared. Breck, too, was ensnared in this web of deception. The young boy was mesmerized by the perpetrator's supposed cryptocurrency triumphs. In a ploy to appear philanthropic, Daines claimed to donate his gains to Syrian refugees. His intentions were to craft an image of benevolence. But beneath it all lay darker motivations. Driven by sinister desires, Daines orchestrated his facade to fulfill urges that remained elusive to outsiders. His actions were a chilling testament to the depths of his manipulation. In a plea for support, the narrator suggests subscribing for more insights. Meanwhile, Breck immersed himself in the gaming world, engaging with peers through a platform called TalkSpeak. Daines zeroed in on Breck, sensing vulnerability. Breck's tech enthusiasm made him an easy mark. Daines portrayed himself as a trusted mentor. Offering coding advice, Daines promised lucrative opportunities. Provided Breck adhered to his guidance, it became clear Daines wielded significant control over the group. Daines's word was law. Other members seemingly feared defying him. Yet they began to see his hold over Breck, especially his attempts to drive a wedge between Breck and his family. Lauren Lefebvre, Breck's mother, grew concerned. Breck, once a devout and diligent child, was changing. Her new partner, Simon Goodwin, noticed too. Breck had been exemplary, attending church, excelling academically, and respecting his family. Simon remarked on Breck's commendable behavior, despite potential reservations. However, post-gaming group involvement, Breck's demeanor shifted. He resisted church, grew argumentative. The transformation was unsettling. Breck's personality seemed to morph into something unrecognizable. Distressing his mother, Lauren attempted to curtail his gaming, yet Breck always found a way back to the group. The gaming group's influence was inescapable for Breck. Despite Lauren's efforts, Breck's ties to the group deepened. His mother's concern only grew as he distanced from his prior self. Returning to the influence Daines held over Breck, this control amplified. One day, Lauren overheard Breck's conversation with Daines on TalkSpeak. Detecting a grown man's voice on the other end, Lauren's concern grew, suspecting her child was being groomed. When questioned, Breck described the man as a wealthy programmer in New York, yet Lauren's suspicions lingered. Her suspicion intensified, as Daines always played games during UK hours. Raising further doubts, Daines, supposedly 17, never revealed his face to the group. Daines insisted his work required secrecy, shielding his identity. Lauren, heartbroken, had reported a potential predator, but her pleas went unheard. On December 17, 2013, Lauren reported her fears to the police, yet no action was taken. 2 months later, Breck would leave his Caterham home, never to return. Breck vanished without a trace. In early 2014, Daines expressed a desire to meet, a journey unimaginable for a young teen, especially given the threat Lauren knew Daines posed. To bypass this barrier, Daines provided Breck with a mobile phone. Daines provided Breck with a cover story for his parents. Breck was to tell his mother he intended to visit his father over the weekend. In reality, a cab, already paid for by Daines, awaited to take him away. On February 17th, Breck entered the cab, heading towards Daines's flat in Grays. Hours later, Barry contacted Lauren. Their son had not arrived as planned. Lauren, engulfed in worry, was unable to reach Breck. With the passing hours, Breck's younger siblings stumbled upon a horrifying truth. Online, messages poured in from friends, questioning if Breck had been murdered. Disturbing photos surfaced on social media, depicting Breck's lifeless body, traced back to the gaming group. Led by Danes, the children were shattered by the images. It was no accident that these were released online. Subsequently, the police arrived at the scene. The grim reality was confirmed. Breck had fallen victim to a brutal crime. The police's knowledge was not due to their investigation prowess. In a haunting revelation, Louis Danes himself reached out to emergency services. That morning, he calmly requested their presence, asking for a forensic team. He unflinchingly confessed to the brutal slaying of Breck, yet he insisted it was self-defense. In a chilling recount, Danes alleged that Breck had lunged at him with a pocket knife. He coldly described how he fatally stabbed Breck in the brainstem. In a chilling recount, he described the moment he slashed across the throat. Yet, his story began to unravel. He confessed to the dispatcher that he had taken a shower before making the report. This cold calculation hinted at premeditation. When law enforcement arrived, they uncovered a mountain of evidence that confirmed the horrific truth. Danes had committed a monstrous act. His icy calmness during the call further revealed his cold-blooded nature. "Are you telling me you've killed somebody?" "Yes, I am." "Right. And who am I speaking to?" "My name is Louis Danes. I'm 18 years old and I live—" "Right. Okay. And what's actually happened?" "My friend came to stay the night with me yesterday, feeling very down. He was feeling suicidal, and I woke up this morning. He was in a mess. I tried to calm him down. I hugged him and said that I was bad for him. He shrugged me off. Can you just bear with me a second? Don't tell me anymore. Okay, you're telling me he is definitely dead?" "I'm telling you yes. I'm telling you he's definitely dead." "Right, okay, Louis. I need you to just take me back through that again. So what happened last night? He came to stay with me because he was feeling down. I tried to help him. What's his name?" "Brett B.R.E.C.K. Bednar." "Okay, so he came to stay with you. I can explain this to the officers when I need to take these initial statements. I know. He came to stay with me that night. I did my best to comfort him. When I woke up this morning, he was in a mess. I tried again. Just slow down, Luis. I need to take these details. Did you have an argument with him last night?" "No, we were fine. You weren't fighting?" No, we were fine. We both went to sleep. I said that we were fine." "Okay, but why did he come to stay with you? Because he was fed up with his home life." "Right, because he was fed up with his home life. Look, he had a lot of problems. I've known him for a long time. He came to stay with me. I was in Thailand last week on holiday. He was in Spain." "Right. Okay. So, you both went to bed. And then what happened?" "This morning, I woke up, and he was just standing there. He was in a mess, hands on his face. I got up, put my arms around him, and said it was okay. He just shrugged me off and said no. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was going on about how he didn't want to go home. He was fed up with his life, and he didn't want to go." "Right, okay. I have a penknife on the side of my bed, adjacent to my chest of drawers. After shaving, I had the TV and other stuff on there. I had a penknife on there, folded. He picked it up, opened it, and then lost control. Slow down. Let me just take those details here." The penknife was on the bedside table. Brett grabbed it. "What? In order to harm himself?" "No, in order to harm me. He opened it, and I lost control." In a moment of chaos, Louis claimed he lost control. Defending himself, he raised his left arm, attempting to block the impending stab. They struggled intensely, and he managed to wrestle Breck to the ground. But Breck got back up. Louis seized the knife, his voice tense as he insisted on recounting his version uninterrupted. He reminded them, "This is being recorded." He narrated with chilling precision how he grabbed the knife, stabbing Breck once in the back of the neck, near the brain stem. Breck turned, tried to continue, and Louis recounted his fear. He stumbled against his chest of drawers, fell over, regained his footing. Yet the sequence of events blurred. In a frenzied moment, he cut Breck's throat, describing how he turned and slashed. Breck collapsed face first onto the bed. Louis, in a futile effort, tried to staunch the bleeding. Desperately, he watched as Breck slipped to the floor. Despite his attempts, he couldn't stop it. The wound was too severe. Breck lay still, and Louis detailed how he tried to compress the wound. But it was too late. A voice interrupted, asking if Louis remained in the room with Breck. Louis responded, frustrated, urging them to let him explain uninterrupted. He admitted his confusion, feeling lost, but confirmed the house was connected to Breck's location. Yet he stood in another room, emotions overwhelming him. His despair surfaced, contemplating his own life, recalling only that he dropped the knife in the hallway, his mind a blur of chaos and regret. He retreated to the shower. Leaving the weapon behind, time slipped away as he sat under the cascading water, awaiting the inevitable arrival of the police. He heard the sirens approaching, preparing to face the consequences. He thanked the operator, his mind racing with what unfolded. The aftermath was grim. Breck had been bound with duct tape. The investigation revealed signs of sexual assault. Breck had endured an unimaginable ordeal, and Louis had attempted to erase the evidence. He took deliberate steps, washing away the blood in a shower. But his efforts extended beyond that. Louis destroyed his hard drives, submerging them in water, hoping to obscure his dark digital past. But the police uncovered enough evidence. Charged with the murder of a child, Louis offered no defense, pleading guilty in court, receiving a sentence of 25 years to life. Reflecting on his own confession, Louis often insisted the operator let him speak. Knowing the call was a record, perhaps seeing it as his twisted moment of notoriety, he craved the spotlight, wishing to be seen as ruthless and unstoppable. A decade later, Breck's family still grapples with their loss. Lauren, in her grief, sued the police for their inaction. This tragedy led Surrey police to rethink their approach to emergency calls. In Breck's memory, his mother founded the Breck Foundation, aiming to highlight the perils of online grooming. The senseless loss of an innocent life left many questions. Was the police response adequate? Did Danes face a just punishment for his actions? Some argue for a life sentence without parole. Your thoughts are valuable. If you appreciate these in-depth narratives, share your views below. Hit that like button and subscribe for more engrossing deep dives. Thank you for watching.